Before the foundation of the world was laid, before the stars were flung into the heavens, before the mountains stood tall and the seas roared with their mighty tides, God knew who were His. He marked them, not with ink, not with tattoos, not with the fame of this world, but with something far greater, far deeper, far more powerful. God placed upon them His divine seal, a spiritual mark that no man can see with his eyes, but heaven recognizes, hell fears, and the earth cannot ignore. I am speaking today about the chosen ones of God, those rare souls who do not belong to this world, but who walk through it with a purpose not their own. You know them, not by their face, not by their clothing, not by the way they speak, but by what they carry, the weight of divine destiny. Let me tell you, when God chooses someone, He does not do it lightly. This is not favoritism. This is not chance. This is purpose wrapped in fire. And you better believe that the moment you are chosen by God, your life will never look like anyone else's. You will not fit in, because God didn't call you to blend in. He called you to stand out. He didn't call you to walk where the crowds walk. He called you to walk through fire if need be, so He can reveal His glory through your life. There are 3 marks God places on His chosen ones. These marks are not given to the casual, to the comfortable, or to the curious. They are given to the called. They are forged through trials, revealed through obedience, and solidified through total surrender. The first mark is the mark of divine separation. The second is the mark of unshakable faith. And the third is the mark of holy fire, an inner fire that cannot be quenched. The third mark of holy fire, an inner fire that cannot be quenched. The first mark, divine separation, is one of the most painful and misunderstood signs that you are chosen by God. When God sets you apart, He strips you of your comfort zones. He pulls you out of places, relationships, situations that you thought were good, but were never meant for where He is taking you. People will leave you, some will betray you, others will misunderstand you. But listen to me carefully. Rejection is often a reflection of your divine selection. God allows people to walk away from you because they cannot go where He is taking you. Not everyone can carry the weight of your calling. Not everyone can handle the anointing on your life. When you are chosen, God isolates you so He can shape you without interference. He removes the noise so you can hear His voice clearly. You look around and wonder, why am I so alone? But that loneliness is not a curse, it's preparation. It's the sacred ground where God deals with you personally. And in that place of separation, God begins to train your spirit. He teaches you how to rely on Him alone, not on your talent, not on your connections, not on your bank account, but on His presence, His provision, and His power. He strips away every crutch so that when you walk not in your own strength, but in the might of the Almighty. That is why the chosen are often hidden for a season. They are not paraded. They are not celebrated. They are trained in silence. When you feel unseen and forgotten, remember, God hides His best weapons until it is time for battle. And when that time comes, you will not need to announce yourself. The anointing on your life will speak louder than any words. The second mark of the chosen is unshakable faith. And I'm not talking about the kind of faith that only operates when things are going well. No, I'm talking about the kind of faith that stands tall in the middle of storms, in the face of loss, in the valley of tears. The chosen ones walk by a faith that does not make sense to the world. They trust when there's no sign. They believe when there's no evidence. They worship when their heart is breaking. Why? Because they are connected to something higher. They understand that God's promises are more real than the circumstances they see. Unshakable faith is not born in comfort. It is born in conflict. It is birthed in pain. And let me tell you, God will test those whom He has chosen. He will put your faith through the fire, not to destroy you, but to prove you, to refine you, to remove every ounce of doubt and fear, until all that remains is pure, unwavering trust in His power. You will be tested in your finances, in your health, in your relationships, in your plans. Everything that can be shaken will be shaken, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. And what remains is the mark of a chosen one, faith that declares, though He slay me, yet will I trust Him. You see, the chosen are not afraid of dark seasons because they know that even in the dark, God is still God. They walk through valleys knowing that their steps are ordered. They face battles knowing that the victory has already been written. Their confidence is not in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of God who walks with them through every fire, every flood, every furnace. And then there is the third mark. Oh, this mark is the most powerful of all, the mark of holy fire. This is the fire that burns inside the chosen ones. It is not natural. It is not emotional. It is not learned. It is given. It is deposited by God Himself. You cannot fake it. You cannot replicate it. It is the divine energy that drives the chosen ones to keep going when others give up. It is what makes them weep over injustice, stand for truth when it's unpopular, and speak when silence would be safer. This fire is the presence of God living inside them. It pushes them. It burdens them. It consumes them with a longing to fulfill the mission God has given them. You cannot explain this fire. All you know is that it won't let you rest. It won't let you quit. It won't let you settle. The chosen ones live with divine restlessness. While others chase fame and fortune, the chosen chase purpose. They are driven by a vision that did not come from man. They wake up with spiritual urgency. They are burdened for things that others ignore. They feel what others do not feel. Why? Because the fire is in them. This fire makes you uncomfortable in sin. It makes you allergic to compromise. It sets you apart from the lukewarm. It will make you walk away from what is easy so you can embrace what is eternal. You will lose friends. You will be mocked. But the fire keeps you focused. The fire keeps you faithful. And when everything around you is falling apart, that holy fire will sustain you. It will carry you. It will remind you that you are not walking in your own power. You are walking in divine assignment. Let me tell you something. The world cannot handle people who carry this fire. They are too bold, too honest, too surrendered. The chosen ones are often rejected because they expose the complacency of others. They provoke change. They disturb comfort zones. They call out what others tolerate. And because of that, they are often persecuted. But even in persecution, the fire grows stronger. Even in the pit, the prison, or the wilderness, they remain unshaken because they know who they are. They are chosen, marked, set apart by the hand of God. You don't need a title to be chosen. You don't need a platform. You don't need the validation of men. All you need is the approval of God. And when He places His mark upon you, no demon in hell can remove it. No lie can erase it. No failure can cancel it. God chose you not because you were perfect, but because you were willing to obey, willing to walk alone, willing to trust Him when it didn't make sense, willing to carry His name even when it cost you everything. You may not have the pedigree, you may not have the education, you may not have the background, but if you have the mark of God, then you have everything you need. Because what God marks, He equips. What God chooses, He empowers. What God sets apart, He protects. And when the world says you're not qualified, God says, I've called you. When others see your weakness, God sees your surrender. When they see your scars, God sees your strength. Chosen ones, you were never called to live an ordinary life. You were never meant to fit in. That's why you feel different. That's why you can't do what others do. That's why you wrestle in the spirit when others are sleeping in the flesh. That's why your spirit grieves over what others celebrate. Because your soul knows you were born for more. Not more in the eyes of men, but more in the kingdom of God. You carry purpose. You carry power. You carry the call of the Almighty. So stop trying to explain yourself to those who cannot see your calling. Stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've outgrown. Stop doubting the voice of God simply because others can't hear it. You don't need their understanding. You need obedience. You don't need their applause. You need alignment. You don't need their approval. You need fire. And if you carry that fire, then no weapon formed against you shall prosper. No lie shall defeat you. No enemy shall destroy you. Because the God who chose you will never abandon you. Your journey may be difficult, your path may be narrow, but your reward is eternal. And every tear, every sacrifice, every step of faith will not be forgotten. Heaven is watching, hell is trembling, and the earth is waiting for you to rise. Rise into who you were created to be. Walk boldly in your calling. Burn brightly with the fire of purpose. Speak with holy conviction. Move with divine urgency. And never forget, you are marked. You are chosen. You are God's. The ones chosen by God are not always understood by the world because they walk by a different rhythm, one that heaven alone conducts. Their spirit is in tune with the voice of God, and that voice often calls them into places others would flee from. God does not call His chosen into ease. He calls them into surrender, into obedience, into a higher way of living that requires courage forged in solitude and devotion built in silence. The chosen carry assignments that break them before they bless them. They are not called to comfort, but to commitment, not to applause, but to alignment. And it is that very alignment with God that causes a divine disruption in their life, one that will reposition everything around them. When God chooses someone, He will reorder your steps, not based on your convenience, but on your calling. He will close doors you prayed would stay open. He will remove people you thought would be with you forever. He will disrupt your plans, not to destroy them, but to elevate them into His divine purpose. It is in this holy disturbance that the chosen ones begin to understand the path of destiny is often paved with discomfort. And yet, in the discomfort, there is divine clarity. God is not raising people who live by sight. He is raising a generation who live by trust. Trust in the unseen, trust in the eternal, trust in His timing, His wisdom, His will. Many are chasing status, but the chosen chase surrender. They are not driven by the desire to be known, but by the command to be faithful. They are willing to walk through deserts if it means they are walking with God. They are willing to carry burdens that others can't see because they know the weight they carry is the result of the word spoken over their life. The chosen are not afraid of pressure because pressure is the womb of purpose. They understand that the crushing seasons are not signs of abandonment. They are the very process by which God extracts the oil from their life. Oil that comes not from talent, but from tears. Not from ambition, but from brokenness. God does not anoint pride. He anoints humility born through fire. Let me speak directly to the soul that has been misunderstood, rejected, cast aside, and left wondering if you still have a place in this world. If you feel out of place, it's because you're not of this place. God has marked you, and with that mark comes divine discomfort. But this discomfort is holy. It is not meant to crush you. It is meant to awaken you. It is a signal that your spirit is too deep to live on the surface. It is a sign that you were never meant to blend in, but to break through. The chosen carry divine restlessness because they were never meant to be settled in places. They were only meant to pass through. When God marks you, He gives you discernment. The chosen ones can see what others cannot. They sense danger before it arrives. They recognize deception before it speaks. They feel the weight of atmospheres and know when something is off, even if no one else sees it. This spiritual sensitivity is not paranoia, it is protection. God sharpens the eyes of the chosen so they will not be deceived by what looks good, but lacks His presence. The chosen walk with wisdom because they've been through too much to trust appearances. They know that not everything dressed in light is sent from heaven. So they walk slowly, prayerfully, and intentionally. They move not by impulse, but by instruction. And with discernment comes authority. Not the kind of authority that demands attention, but the kind that shifts rooms without saying a word. The chosen don't have to announce their arrival. The atmosphere adjusts because of what they carry. The presence of God on them is heavy. It convicts. It transforms. It awakens. People may not know why they're drawn to you or why they fear you or why they resist you, but their spirit knows. The mark of God is not always visible, but it is always felt. When the chosen speak, their words carry weight because they speak from a place of deep communion with the divine. They don't echo opinions, they release truth. The chosen are also resilient. When others would have quit, they keep going. When storms come, they don't run, they kneel. Their strength does not come from applause, it comes from prayer. Their endurance is not fueled by height, but by hope. Hope in the unseen hand of God guiding them even when the way is unclear. They are familiar with pain, but they are not broken by it. They are acquainted with delay, but not defeated by it. For the chosen know that delays are divine appointments in disguise. God is never late, and He is never absent. He is shaping you in the silence, preparing you in the shadows, building you in the places where no one claps, no one sees, and no one understands. The path of the chosen is often lonely, but it is never empty, for God walks with them. And when God walks with you, even the valley becomes sacred, even the fire becomes a classroom, even the betrayal becomes a blessing. What others use to break you, God will use to build you. The very pain that tried to bury you becomes the soil from which purpose springs forth. The chosen ones are not destroyed by trials, they are defined by them. Every tear, every heartbreak, every crushing moment becomes a testimony to the faithfulness of God. You see, being chosen does not mean you are exempt from suffering. In fact, it means you will suffer differently, but you will also overcome differently. God does not choose people for comfort, He chooses them for calling, and with calling comes weight. With calling comes spiritual warfare, but with calling also comes favor. Unseen favor, quiet favor, favor that shields you when you didn't even know danger was near. God fights for His chosen. He surrounds them with a hedge that no darkness can penetrate. He lifts them when others try to bury them. He exalts them not on stages, but in spiritual realms where the real battles are won. And here's the truth: many are called, but only a few are chosen. The chosen are those who respond, who surrender, who submit, even when it costs everything. They don't just say yes with their lips, they say yes with their life. They give up what others hold dear, they lay down what others cling to. They say, "Not my will, but yours, O God." They are not impressed by glitter. They are not seduced by gold. They are moved by truth. They are anchored in purpose. They are set on fire by divine conviction. So if you feel forgotten, overlooked, passed by, don't despair. It may be that God is preparing you not for the crowd, but for the crown. Not for public recognition, but for private revelation. He may be training you to carry something so heavy, so holy, that the process must be severe. But when the time comes, when He unveils what He has placed inside of you, no demon, no man, no force in this world will be able to stop it. Because when God opens the door, it stays open. When God promotes, no one can demote. When God blesses, no curse can reverse it. The chosen are God's secret weapons. They are not always the loudest, the flashiest, or the most applauded, but they are the most dangerous to the kingdom of darkness, because they carry purity, integrity, fire, and truth. They are willing to go wherever God sends them, speak whatever He tells them, stand even when they stand alone, and they do it not for attention, but out of obedience. They live not to be liked, but to be aligned. They don't live to be accepted by the world, they live to be approved by heaven. When God chooses a soul, He does not simply anoint their journey, He transforms their very being. The chosen do not walk merely with knowledge, they walk with revelation. They move with an inner knowing that surpasses human logic. They feel the weight of their assignment before the world even sees the fruit. And because of this, they are often misunderstood by those who are comfortable in shallow waters, but the chosen were never called to float. They were called to dive deep, deep into the mystery of God's will, deep into the depth of obedience, deep into the places where few dare to go. That depth becomes their strength. That surrender becomes their identity. To be chosen by God is to carry the fire of clarity in a world drowning in confusion. It is to stand firm when deception is widespread, to hold on to God's truth when others chase trends. The chosen are not led by the noise of the crowd. They are led by the still voice of God in the secret place. And because they live from that secret place, they are not easily shaken. Their discernment is razor sharp. They can see beyond what is presented. They hear what others overlook. They move when others hesitate. Why? Because their soul is tethered to a higher authority. And hear this: when God places His mark on you, He will make you dangerous to darkness. You will become a threat to lies, a disruptor of deception. You won't need to speak loud. Your very presence will convict the hearts of those hiding in rebellion. Your eyes will carry the weight of the truth you've endured. Your voice will tremble with the power of words, not born from intellect, but from communion. And though the world may not understand you, those who are hungry for God will recognize you. The chosen ones attract other seekers. They carry a frequency that only the surrendered can hear. A sound from heaven, a call to rise, to return, to walk the ancient path of righteousness. But don't be deceived. The road for the chosen is not paved with ease, it is paved with endurance. There will be seasons where everything seems delayed, times where the silence of God stretches longer than expected. You will wrestle, you will cry, you will wonder if God has forgotten. But that is where trust is forged, not when the answers are clear, but when the voice of God is all you have. And that is the beauty of being chosen. You come to a place where you don't need signs, you don't need validation, you don't even need clarity. You only need God. His presence becomes your compass. His peace becomes your answer. His command becomes your comfort. The chosen do not crave the spotlight. They are content in the shadows because they know the one who sees in secret is the one who rewards in His own time. They don't manipulate outcomes. They don't strive for attention. They simply obey. And that obedience is the very fragrance of their power. God elevates those who bow low in private. He lifts those who do not lift themselves. The chosen understand that the path to power is paved with submission. The way up is down. Down in humility, down in repentance, down in unwavering devotion. Devotion. And oh, how the chosen weep, not because they are weak, but because their hearts carry burdens that cannot be explained. They weep for the broken. They groan for the lost. They intercede for a generation asleep at the wheel. Their tears are not of despair, they are of intercession. Their hearts beat in rhythm with God's sorrow over injustice, over sin, over the compromise of the sacred. They are not impressed with appearances. They hunger for alignment. They do not run after prosperity, they run after purity, because they know true power flows through clean vessels. God will test His chosen not to expose them, but to expand them. Every trial has a purpose. Every delay is divine. Every setback is a setup for something greater. The chosen are not easily impressed, and they are not easily broken. They walk with scars, not as trophies, but as proof that they've been through fire and did not burn. They've been through storms and did not drown. Why? Because God was with them. He upheld them. He whispered strength when their own strength was gone. And that divine whisper gave them the courage to stand, to rise, to walk forward, even with trembling legs. Let me tell you, being chosen doesn't mean you always feel strong. It means you'll always have a source of strength that never runs dry. You'll walk through days when you feel empty, yet still pour into others. You'll carry burdens heavier than most, yet still smile with grace. That is what God does. He fills where the world depletes. He revives where life is drained. And when others wonder how you're still standing, you'll know it is not by might, not by strength, but by the sustaining power of God. The chosen understand that obedience is better than comfort, that conviction is more valuable than compliments, that silence with God is louder than praise from men. They are not afraid to be corrected. They are not too proud to be refined, because they know refinement is the process of glory, and God does not refine what He has no intention to use. The fire is a promise. If you're in it, it's because something is being shaped in you that cannot be built in the ease of life. Every blow, every crushing moment, every dark night is forming something eternal inside you. And what is that thing? It is a spirit unshaken by storms, a heart that beats with eternity, a soul untainted by popularity. God is raising up a remnant, not loud in appearance, but deep in conviction, not known for charm, but for character, not celebrated by men, but approved by heaven. You will not find them in every room, but when you do, you'll know, because they carry weight. Not the weight of ego, but the weight of God's presence. So let me ask you, are you willing to be one of them? Are you willing to carry what others refuse? To say yes when it costs you everything? To walk with God when everyone else walks away? To trust when nothing makes sense? To believe when nothing is visible? That's what the chosen do. They stand not because they are fearless, but because they know the one who holds them. They speak not because they are eloquent, but because they carry truth. They move not because they are strong, but because they are willing. God is still marking people today, still separating, still refining, still calling, and He is not looking for the perfect, He is looking for the surrendered, the willing, the available. Those who will say, "Here I am, send me, use me, break me, mold me, set me on fire." And when He finds that heart, He will pour into it what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind can comprehend. The mark of the chosen is not on the skin. It is on the soul. It is eternal. It is undeniable. It is divine. So guard the calling, protect the fire, nurture the stillness, make space, for the voice of God in your life. The world will try to distract you. People will try to pull you in every direction. But the chosen remain anchored, they remain set, they remain available, because they know this life is a vapor, and only what is done in alignment with God will last. If you carry that mark, walk like it, speak like it, live like it, the world is desperate for those who are real, who are authentic, who are rooted in God, not swayed by culture. Chosen ones are not trend followers. They are trailblazers. They are pioneers in the Spirit, carving paths where none existed before. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's lonely, but the reward is eternal. And the hand that mark you will never leave you. You are not ordinary. You are not overlooked. You are not abandoned. You are marked. You are chosen. You are called. And the same God who called you will carry you until the very end. Let that truth sink deep into your soul. Let it define you. Let it fuel you. Let it strengthen you in every valley and steady you on every mountain. For when God marks a person, He does not just bless their future. He transforms their very existence. When God calls, it is not a whisper meant for the ears alone. It is a summons meant to shake the very bones of a person. It echoes through the soul. It interrupts ordinary living. It calls the chosen out from the crowd and into a wilderness where dependence on God becomes the only source of survival. And hear me, this wilderness is not a punishment, it is preparation. God does not send the chosen ones into isolation to destroy them. He does it to strip away every false identity, every distraction, every illusion of self-sufficiency. Because before God sends you out, He must bring you into Himself, into silence, into depth, into fire. For only there can you learn how to hear His voice above the noise, how to walk when the way is unseen, and how to stand when everything familiar has crumbled. It is in that sacred place of crushing where the chosen are truly born, where the soul is purified of pride, where desires are realigned, and where motives are tested. God does not anoint surface-level hearts. He anoints hearts that have been shattered, surrendered, and sanctified through pain. The chosen come out of the fire not smelling like smoke, but radiating divine strength, strength that was not taught, it was transferred. It was breathed into them in the quiet hours of battle when no one was watching but God. And once God raises you, no man can bring you down. Once He places His hand upon you, the voices of critics become powerless. The betrayal of friends becomes a stepping stone. The storms you thought would drown you become the very winds that carry you into new territory. Because the chosen do not depend on external circumstances to validate their purpose. They are governed by the inner conviction that what God spoke is greater than what anyone else sees, whilst those that grow weaker and acquire power is going to be weaker than what anyone else sees. And that is the strength of the chosen. They are anchored not in what they feel, but in what God declared. You see, when God marks a person, He marks them with divine purpose. And purpose always demands process. You cannot carry the weight of destiny without walking through the narrow gate of discipline. God will discipline His chosen because He loves them too much to let them live beneath their calling. He will close doors you begged Him to open. He will remove people you thought you needed. He will frustrate plans that you carefully craft. Why? Because He sees further than you do. He knows that if you are to walk in the fullness of His assignment, you cannot be entangled in anything or anyone that will slow you down or silence your voice. The chosen must learn to be deaf to distractions and alert to the whispers of God, because in this hour, not all open doors are divine, and not all attention is affirmation. Many are being lured by platforms that look promising but are spiritually poisonous. But the chosen are not seduced by opportunity. They are grounded in discernment. They know how to say no when everyone expects a yes. They are not afraid to be misunderstood, mislabeled, or mocked, because they live for one thing: to please the one who called them. And here's the hard truth. Being chosen by God will cost you everything. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you popularity. It may cost you relationships, ambitions, even dreams that were never truly divine. But what you gain in return cannot be measured. You gain clarity. You gain intimacy with God that money cannot buy, an influence that flows not from status, but from surrender. And when the chosen walk into a room, they don't need to announce who they are. The atmosphere shifts because they carry the weight of obedience. They have walked through valleys with God. They have wept in silence. They have battled in prayer. And now, when they speak, it is not just words, it is power wrapped in truth. Do not envy those who seem to rise quickly. Do not compare your journey to theirs. The chosen understand that delayed elevation is often divine protection. God will hide you until your character can carry the weight of your calling. He will keep you in obscurity until the foundation is unshakable. He's not trying to make you impressive. He is trying to make you unbreakable. Because when the storms of life come, and they will, it is not charisma that keeps you standing, but it's light. It is not charisma that keeps you standing. It is character. It is obedience. It is the quiet strength forged in years of unseen sacrifice. And know this, the mark of God on your life will attract spiritual warfare. The enemy does not attack the indifferent, he attacks the influential, not the popular, but the purposeful. When you begin to align your life with the assignment God has placed on you, do not be surprised when resistance increases. That resistance is confirmation, not condemnation. It is proof that you are touching something eternal. So don't retreat, advance. Don't bow to fear. Rise in faith, because if God called you, He will also equip you. He will place armor on you that no attack can penetrate, and give you wisdom that no lie can dismantle. The chosen walk in a confidence that is not arrogance, it is assurance. Assurance that God has gone before them, that He walks beside them, that He lives within them. They do not fear rejection, because they know they were never meant to be accepted by everyone. They do not fear failure, because they understand that every fall is another step toward refinement. They know that success in God's eyes is measured not by outcome, but by obedience. The world is waiting. The earth groans for those who will rise with clean hands and pure hearts, for those who will speak what is right even when it is not received, for those who will not sell their soul for temporary gain, for those who know that one day they will stand before God and give account, not for how popular they were, but for how obedient they lived. The chosen do not live for applause, they live for that sacred moment when God looks at them and says, "You did what I asked of you." If your heart burns as you hear these words, it's because the fire of calling is alive inside of you. It may be buried under layers of fear or fatigue, but it is still there. God has not forgotten what He placed inside you. He has not changed His mind. The mark remains. The purpose stands. And now is the time to return to that sacred place. Return to prayer. Return to stillness. Return to obedience. There is still work to do. There are lives connected to your yes. There are destinies tied to your decision. And God is not calling the crowd. He is calling the chosen. So now, beloved soul, the moment has come. Not for applause, not for emotion, but for decision. For deep within you, whether whispered or roaring, you already feel the stirring. You know you are not here by accident. You know this message reached you by divine design. There is something in your life, your spirit, your mind, your calling, that God is trying to awaken. The world has tried to silence it. People have tried to distract it. Time has tried to bury it. But what God has placed within you cannot die, because what is born of God carries eternity inside it. You may have doubted. You may have delayed. You may have been wounded. But the mark of God is still there. And where there is a mark, there is still a mission. Let this be the hour where you stop running from what you were born to carry. Let this be the moment where you lay down every excuse, every fear, every chain of hesitation, and return to the one who formed you from dust and breathed his breath into your being. God is not calling you to be perfect. He is calling you to be faithful. He is not asking you to understand everything. He is asking you to trust him in everything. And when you take that step, no matter how small, heaven moves with you. You are never alone when your feet walk in obedience. Look within. Search your soul. Ask yourself with trembling honesty, am I living as one truly chosen, or am I still dancing with distractions while divine purpose waits in silence? Do not wait for a better season. Do not wait for clearer signs. What God wants to do in your life begins the moment you say yes, a full, fearless, surrendered yes. Not a partial agreement, not a temporary commitment, a life-altering yes that says, whatever you ask, wherever you lead, I will go. And when you walk with that kind of yes, your life becomes a weapon in the hand of the Almighty. Your story becomes a light to the broken. Your presence becomes a beacon in dark places. You become living proof that God still chooses people, not because they are qualified, but because they are willing. You carry the fire of transformation, the wisdom born from surrender, the strength molded in trial. You become the voice for the voiceless, the anchor for the drifting, the example for the weary. And not because of who you are, but because of who God is through you. So rise, shake off the dust of delay, cast aside the cloak of compromise, stand like one who knows that the breath in your lungs is borrowed from eternity. Let your life thunder with purpose. Let your days speak of devotion. Let your footsteps echo through the halls of heaven as one who answered the call. Be the one who walks away from the crowd and toward the mountain. Be the one who kneels when others rise in pride. Be the one who says, here I am, God, use me. And when you live like that, when you carry yourself as one marked by the Most High, then the storms may rage, but they will not break you. The darkness may press in, but it will not drown you. The trials may increase, but so will the power within you. Because God does not abandon those He chooses, He surrounds them. He strengthens them. He walks with them until the very end. Let this be your moment, not of emotion, but of transformation. Let the fire be rekindled. Let the vision be renewed. Let the burden be embraced. For the time is short, the need is great, and your calling is now. You are chosen, not by men, not by systems, not by chance. You are chosen by God. So walk like it, live like it, and never look back,